What's up, everybody, and welcome in to the Wiregrass High School Football Report, your weekly look at all things high school football in the Wiregrass. I am your host, in-studio host, and producer, Brotherwood Football on 96.9 The Legend, and I cover the Auburn Tigers for USA Today over at the Auburn Wire. I'm your host, Phillip Jordan. We got a fun show planned for you guys this week. A little bit different, not a coach this week, but I'll be joined by one of the voices of the Wiregrass when it comes to high school football. The voice of the Carroll High Eagles, Les Perault, will be joining me. Of course, they're from 5A Region 2. They're trying to rebound from a 2-8 regular season on the books, 1-9 on the field, but we'll talk with Les about that. And before we do all that, let's guys know you can find me in the podcast. Find me on social media at PJordanSEC. Podcast available on all your favorite podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. If you're on Apple Podcasts, please follow, rate, and review. Leave a review, and I will read it on a future edition of the show. You also check out the show over on my YouTube channel, Phillip Jordan Sports. You can always email me at sportstalkphillipjordan@gmail.com. Now let's get into it with Les Perault, voice of the Carroll High Eagles, right here on the Wiregrass High School Football Report. All right, everybody, as I mentioned there on the open, I am joined this week by Les Perault, voice of the Carroll High Eagles. They're in Ozark. Of course, they're in 5A Region 2. And Les, a conversation I've always wanted to have you on the show. I'm a little bit more of an independent show now. I was able to do that. But Les, appreciate you coming on the show.
Oh, thank you, Phillip. I enjoy listening to your podcast, and you have some great guests on from time to time here. So glad to be on with you tonight.
Yeah, I think everybody looks forward to the guests. They're like, Phillip, would you hush, quit talking? Let's hear the person that knows what they're talking about on the other side. But I appreciate you doing it. And, of course, I said there in Ozark, calling the Carroll High Eagle games. And you guys got something new, kind of how people can find that this upcoming season with the new mic'd up sports network. Of course, Eagle Talk on Thursdays, the Carroll High School football games on Friday nights. And y'all have y'all Saturday morning scoreboard show from, I guess it's still going to be 8:30 to 10 a.m. normal time.
8:30 to 10 a.m. Sure will.
So just tell the audience about that, about Mic'd Up Sports Network.
Yeah, this will be my 25th year of calling Carroll High School football this upcoming season, and we've been on a local radio station here. Normally we were on 104.9 before here, picked up locally around Ozark. Last year we had a new station owner. They came in and they moved us to one of their secondary channels. I think it's 98.1. The tower is actually between Ozark and Dothan. They say it picks up in Dothan really, really good, but not so much here in Ozark. So it was like hit or miss when people were trying to listen to the Carroll High games or our Saturday show last season. So a lot of people are going streaming only now, and I thought it was probably the time to do that. And so I had to buy some new equipment and everything to make that work. So we're going to be totally streaming all three different shows that we do: the Eagle Talk, like I said, and the Carroll Football, and the Saturday morning scoreboard show. And the Saturday morning scoreboard show, we're going to broadcast live from Loose Brick Coffee downtown Ozark. Is a great venue. They've got, of course, I think they got some of the best coffee around, and they have lots of good food and stuff there. So, our radio guy, we love to eat. So I talked to the owner there, and she said, "Yeah, y'all come and do the show there. I'll feed y'all, I'll give you coffee or whatever." So we'll do that, and then Thursday nights we're gonna rotate the different locations where we do our show, the coaches show, Eagle Talk, and we're gonna start out with Jameson's Restaurant, and then we'll alternate to DeFlippo's Pizza. And then I'm supposed to talk to the guy, Ben, with El Palacio. So it'll be like a 3-restaurant rotation that we'll do the Eagle Talk show during the football season, Carroll High football season on that.
Well, now I know those last two. Actually, I just drove through Ozark this weekend, headed to Prattville. Those two I know are well-known establishments there in Ozark. So those would be some good spots to talk football at.
Absolutely. We talked to Meg DeFlippo, and she said, "We got the big table in the back. We'll set y'all up there." And of course, they've got, I don't know if you've eaten their pizza, but they've got some of the best pizza around. So the guys are looking forward to that, and the coaches too, because they get a meal too when they come on.
And look, they just received some free advertisement here on the Wiregrass High
Yes,
School Football Report.
yeah.
And I mean, I'm at to crash in on your scoreboard show one
I
morning.
told you you're gonna have to come up and join us when you can. Now it's a lot of fun. We that's the other thing. We don't take ourselves serious. We have probably more fun than seriousness. But there's a few times we'll talk serious sports, but a lot of times we cut up with each other, and we got a good camaraderie with the guys that help. Kirk Adams, Mike Reeder, and then Kevin Shue. Now Kevin, he says, just give me something to do instead of talk. He's like, I don't like talking on it, but he likes hanging out with us. So,
Well, I could fill in the void if he doesn't want to talk because
yes,
anybody
hey,
knows
it
me knows.
actually he's the only Auburn voice on the show. We actually need a stronger Auburn voice, and that you would fit right in there, Phillip.
I'll be there for you then. I'll try to come in,
All
call
right.
in, or stop. I like coffee.
Yes.
I'm a coffee drinker, so I got to
All
have my
right.
coffee in the mornings. You talked about there, 25 years calling Carroll High football, and that was going to be a question. How long you been doing it? How
Yeah.
did you get started with it?
There was a few years that they just didn't have anybody to do it, and they're saying, hey, we need somebody to do the radio show. And when years ago, I'd helped a guy when I was working up in Birmingham. My next door neighbor was the guy that did the play-by-play for Birmingham Bulls hockey, and so he said, hey, I need some help, and I want you to run the recorder. So I'd run the recorder and so whenever there was a goal scored, I would hit the recorder and then back it up, and then so at halftime or at the end of the game, he would take those. Each tape would be already lined up to play back. This is back before the computers and all that stuff, and so I would basically record the goals, and then at the breaks, it would come back and play the highlights, the goal shots and the calls on the goal. So that was kind of my little experience into it. Then years ago, in the late '80s, I had a good friend Jeff White that did the play-by-play for Carroll High School football back then, and I would tag along with him, with them, and just carry the equipment and just kind of just be around it. Of course, I'm a former Carroll football player too, so I'm all about Carroll High School. I love my school, and that's how it came about. And my wife she posted something on Facebook the other day. It's like, yeah, Les has been doing this. This will be his 25th year. He said, I can remember the first year, and it was a lot of dead air. Just got to get in the hang of it because I was the only one doing it right then. It was just me trying to fill airtime, and that was tough. And but now when I got Kirk and Mike along with me, it sure makes it a lot easier, and we have a fun time doing it too.
Yeah, doing any kind of broadcast solo is tough. You got to be there's only special people that can do the solos by
Yes.
themselves, especially 2.5, 3 hours of high school football.
It's easy to have dead air in there. Easy to have dead air.
Absolutely. You got to take a breath every now and then. What are some maybe your best memories calling Carroll High football?
Okay. I've got some funny ones too now. I got some funny memories.
Oh, bring the funny.
Okay, I'll bring the funny one first. Okay, I can't remember what year it was. It was when Northview was in our region, and Northview came here to play us. We had a group at church here, a group from Kentucky that were coming in, and they were going to do mission work with us here. So I had to leave the game early to go meet the mission group here at the church to let them in because they were going to stay here at church. And so we were ahead of Northview at that time. And so, as a superstition, when I left, we were ahead. I texted the guys. I was like, I'm just going to ride around and listen to the game the rest of the night because I don't want to jinx this. Because I mean, when we beat if we beat it Northview or Dothan or something like that, it means a lot. We're a smaller school than them. So I rode around Ozark listening to them broadcast the rest of the game, and we ended up winning the game. That was just a funny superstitious kind of night there on that.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Is there any? obviously big time wins that stick out to you, Colin?
The some of the most exciting was really the 16 and 17 season when Coach Roger McDonald was here,
Mm-hmm.
with 2 undefeated regular seasons. I mean, we're beat Eufaula. Of course, that's always a huge win. And that 16, we made it to the third round of playoffs and got beat by the eventual state champion uh, Beauregard back then. And then the next year I think we got beat by St. Paul's, who they won the state championship that same year, the second round. They beat us here. But those 2 years really, I mean, it was like walking on air. I mean, 2 regular season undefeated seasons in a row. I mean, that was huge. Now, I'm trying to think some of the other big ones. Some victories over Charles Henderson just a few years ago when Coach Plott was here. I mean, we went in there pretty thinking we were the underdog, and we ended up that night our offense was just working. I mean, whatever we did worked, and we put up a bunch of points, and Charles Henderson couldn't keep up, and our defense played extra tough that night, and that was a great memory there for me too as well. And if I go back to when Coach Robert Johnson was the coach, we had a big win when we beat Dothan down at Rip Hughes Stadium back then. It was a tight game. I mean, I think it was like less than, it was one score game anyway, but it was down to the wire. We just kept driving and finally scored, went ahead, and then basically kind of held Dothan out of the to run the clock out. They couldn't get another score. That was a fun one there too for being a Carroll
Mm-hmm.
fan. Now there's one game. I guess it was when Coach Plott. We didn't win this game, but it was against Enterprise over there in Enterprise, and we were within 7 points of Enterprise, and their crowd was quiet. I mean, because they weren't expecting Carroll to really do anything against big 7A Enterprise over there that particular year, and we had that game within 7 points in the middle of the fourth quarter on that, and of course Enterprise we I think we turned the ball over or something. Enterprise kind of went ahead and got us by double digits, but that was a fun game while it was going on anyway. But even though it was a loss, but to play them that close was pretty fun.
Yeah, I think I remember because we've talked off there, and I'll pull the curtain back a little bit for people. A lot of
Yeah.
times while we're doing the Dothan games on 96.9 The Legend, I've got my iPad. I'm usually watching another game from around the
Uh-huh.
area. A lot of times Enterprise, just because the same region, just keep an eye on what
Right.
they're doing. I remember watching that. It wasn't it Keyshawn Cole at quarterback. Was that when he was?
Yes.
One of my most
Yes.
memorable games, Carol, and it was actually WTVY, the TV station, had the
Uh-huh.
game against Rehoboth. I remember
Uh-huh.
that year, and I had Coach Plott on after the game that week, and just the moves and the plays that he made in that game. There
Oh,
was a couple he
oh,
just
he's just, I mean, just he had some kind of moves. Oh boy, yes.
um but looking at this year's team going in, of course, I mentioned off the top, when we talked about this off the air, 2-8 in the record books, 1-9. Of course, one of the wins was
Right.
one of the forfeits for Charles Henderson.
Charles Anderson.
So without that, it's 1-9. But on the field, 1-9, 2-8. It's in the books. That's how it looks. First year under Matt Malone, I know there was a lot of key players from the year before when Coach Plott was there that graduated, left. We mentioned just one of them that was
Uh-huh.
that was gone. But as you've kind of been around Coach Malone throughout the end of last year and then into the off season and going into this year, what do you see with him in taking this team and kind of get back to the playoffs?
I know I was we had actually Eagle Sunday at our church here today. Invited the coaches, the cheerleaders, and the football players here. And so after lunch, I was talking with Coach Malone a little bit, and he was saying, when he got here last year, I think they only had 7 returning players off of the team before with Plots last year, and this year he's got double digits returning back. We've got some. great skill players. I believe we are thin on the line on both sides. We're not very big, and that's the only thing that's going to kind of probably hurt us is the size on the line. But you mentioned Keyshawn Cole and talking about another player, his little brother Caden Cole.
Mm-hmm.
He is super quick, and he plays quarterback on defense, and he plays running back on offense too. And he'll be one. He's just a ninth grader this year, and he'll be somebody to watch, especially in the future. I think he might be quicker than his brother, possibly.
Say a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, I was kind of doing my prep work and research for this conversation. We was going to talk Carroll High football. I saw on Facebook the video that they had posted, in practice of Caden Cole, and you can see it. You can see it, and not just the overall speed, just the quickness of hitting the hole, which is something a lot of running backs, younger running backs in all levels take time to develop. But him as a freshman, it seems like he's already got that vision. Like, okay, he sees the hole, he's going to run through it.
Yeah, I agree. He's got supervision on that when he sees when he knows what hole to hit and what angle to take, and it's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, and I know you talk about on the line. I kind of look into it, and I told you off air something I like that Carroll does is really highlighting their players on social media. For recruiting purposes and stuff like that. I really wish everybody did that. The level that Carroll is doing. Defensive front, or not front, but linebacker, Desmond Parker, 2 sacks last year. I know he's got an offer from Huntington. He went to the Troy camp. Seems like this is a player that really could set himself up, individually, but also help out with the team success this season.
Absolutely. And last year he played some tight end. He's got good hands, got some good moves out there. He's a very physical player, and I look for a lot out of him this season from both sides of the ball, really, for Carroll. Now I'll tell you a story about Desmond. His grandfather played at University of Alabama. He was on the '78 national championship team,
Okay.
Calvin Parker, and was played for Coach Bryant. And his granddaddy was my position coach when I played at Carroll too. And I tell you, he was he's passed away, but he was. I remember one time it was fall practice, and I remember one of our nose guard kept like messing up, doing the wrong thing. So Calvin got out there without a helmet and did just basically a one-on-one drill. I mean, it just took him, grabbed him, slid him out of the way. I mean, it just hit head on helmet. I remember he had blood coming down the forehead, and I think everybody on our defensive side, because I played defense, and we were all just like pumped and ready to go through a brick wall after he did that. He was just a genuine person. I really miss Coach Parker. And I mean, I was like, he's a type coach that you would do anything he asked you to, and just a great man, great Christian man. And I really miss him. And I told Desmond that story, and he was like, "Oh, really?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Yes." I said, "Your granddaddy was pretty awesome player and a coach, definitely a great coach."
So I'll connect to Parker, not Desmond, his grandfather. I know Curtis McGriff that was also on that team that wanted because I'm originally from Cottonwood. So, and then my mom grew up down the road from where he grew up, down in the Pansy Gordon area. And one time he was visiting, and I got to meet him. One of the nicer guys. So I have an autograph of his somewhere. So you said 78. I said, okay, we have to connect. I got to at least tell
because he used to Coach Parker used to talk about Curtis McGriff. Oh yeah. I remember as a kid. Of course, I'm an Alabama fan, and McGriff was an awesome player too back in those days. Yes.
Yeah, man, he had it. He played for Bear Bryant and Bill Parcells, so he knew some tough coaching.
Yes.
So kind of back on Carroll with quarterback Holden Pollock. And he'll be a senior this upcoming year. He played last year. According to Max Prep, since the stats are going off, a little over 1,500 yards on the passing, 10 touchdowns, but according to the stats on there, he had a couple games where he did show what he's, his potential. The Bike County game, the win 24-17, 3 touchdowns. The Headland game, I know it was a loss, but I just look at the numbers: 21-37, 283, 3 touchdowns, and a 41-28 loss. Seeing him play every week, and obviously, you're around the program, talking to coaches. What do you see out of the quarterback position?
He's tremendous. He's got a huge arm. He's pretty active back in the pocket. The only thing that's tough on it is because of our lineman size right now. He's got to get that ball out of there quick, especially against a bigger defensive front we're facing on that. But I mean he's very accurate with his passes, got strong arm, and I look for big things. I know he went to one of the Troy camp up there too, and had a visit. It was I guess it was a Troy Southern Miss game last year. So him and Desmond both were there at the game. I got to see him down there. They were down there on the field, so they were at an in-house visit for that game last year for Troy. But I told Desmond, I said, I hope you go to Troy. At least get somebody from Carroll I can go watch. Very easily go watch them play.
Yeah, that's a trip just right up the road from where they're in Ozark. And looking at some of the players, we mentioned Caden Cole. I know another running back, Cameron Hudspeth. That's
yes.
have coming back. Then receivers, you have Terrion Wilson, Zacaden Vincent. How are you feeling about their skill positions right?
The skill. I mean, I think our skill positions are probably just as good as anybody around. Watching them play last year, and Caden, just seeing the stuff he's done during the offseason, the spring game, and I've watched a handful of their practices and stuff they've been having over at Carroll. I've been able to get by and watch some of those, and it's very impressive. Our skill positions, we're in very good shape as far as that goes on that.
I don't know if people watching the video on YouTube or Facebook, they can see the helmet on Les's desk, and also the football field got some upgrades there at Matthew Stadium. And I went to the Dale County and Carroll spring game, which Carroll won that game. And look, Dale County, I know they're 4A, but so they're a really good 4A team last year.
They are
winning a region, got upset in the first round, but that should not discredit their season. They had a really good season last year.
Yeah, they did.
The stadium looks fantastic. So anybody that hasn't seen it yet, I mean, it is beautiful to see. So some new looks coming for Carroll this year too.
Yeah, yes. I mean, and really, the stadium. I mean, it's not as large as Enterprise, but I think it's every bit as in the niceties of a stadium. And we have the track, the brand new running track there. The new press box, new concession stand and restrooms on the home side. There's really not. I mean, other than Charles Henderson, who plays at Troy University's Veterans Memorial. I mean, there's really not any other schools around in the Wiregrass that is not. I mean, just bragging a little bit on our facilities I want to thank Mr. Rebus Gertman, our superintendent here, Ozark City Schools, and our Ozark City School Board for making these things happen, having that vision, and it's just tremendous facilities wise. It's all. I've never would imagine this back when I first started doing this 25 years ago. Have Carroll High having this type of facilities to work with, and these kids they deserve it. Our kids deserve it.
And I was looking at the schedule. First 5 games at home. So everybody's going to get to see that new stadium, the new look and everything pretty early on. Open up at Russell County, and you got Rehoboth and Elmore County out of region, and then you jump in to region play with Charles Henderson on September 12th. But that kind of is one of the things. Yes, you have the first half of the season at home, but then 4 of the 5 on the back half are on the road. Yeah. But it does give you an opportunity to get off to a good start when you're at home like that. Your routine is kind of easy compared to what the road team. I know a lot of these teams are close by, so high school football. It's not like SEC or NFL home advantage, but still. You are at home. You're more comfortable. They're coming to your place. They've got to travel, all that stuff. So it's a good opportunity. I'm being long-winded with this question. It seems like a good opportunity for Carroll to get off to a good start
It does. Of course, I don't know why we scheduled two 6A teams to start the season, but we got, like you said, Russell County and Rehoboth, both 6A teams now, and then Elmore County coming in. But I tell you, the region that Carroll's in is a meat grinder of a region. I mean, that is so tough. Where you got the likes of Montgomery Catholic, the state champion last year. Andalusia Bulldogs, always just a tough opponent. And then Charles Henderson, Eufaula. I mean, those are tough teams to have to play. And there's only six region teams, so the top four does make the playoffs. But and then you got Greenville. We got Greenville on the road. So I don't know. It's gonna be an uphill battle for the Eagles this year, just for the fact of meat grinder of a schedule, meat grinder of a region. I mean, that's just a lot of good teams in our 5A region too.
Yeah, and when you only have six, it means you have 5 region games. So there's not
Yep.
a lot of room for error. Like you got some regions in other parts of the state that's got like 8 or 9
Hey,
teams.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you got like 7 or 8 region games. You could drop a couple, and you can
It-
kind of rebound. And this
yes.
region with the competition plus just only having 6 of you, you really just got to be on your game from the start for all of them.
You did, and then I didn't even mention Headland. Headland is another outstanding program. They're playing some great ball right now. The last couple of seasons. So yeah, it's tough to get out of that region to make it into playoffs. It sure is.
So, before I let you go, quickly, one thing I have noticed that you are a Saints fan. Uh,
Yes.
through social media on Facebook. Where does your Saints fandom originate? Anybody watching the video can see who I'm a fan of. That's not a G for Goshen. This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
the Green Bay Packers. And y'all can see the helmets if you're watching online
Yeah.
on the video. But where does your fandom for the Saints? Where did that come from?
Well, I've always kind of liked the Saints. I guess, and then back, and of course with Drew Brees there as the quarterback, man. I mean, it's hard not to like the New Orleans Saints back then. And then when they got Mark Ingram when he was on there, of course another Alabama player, and that's I just love the Saints and now they got Kool-Aid McKinstry, defensive back. They were playing when I left earlier. I don't know if they won their game. They were behind when I left. They were playing preseason against us. Was it San Diego? I think it was.
Yeah, they got beat by the Chargers. I was watching
Okay,
that
yeah,
game
yeah.
earlier myself.
Oh, but yeah, that's what I like. And the atmosphere. I've been to three Saints games down there in New Orleans. That atmosphere in there is unlike any other atmosphere I've ever been in. It is so loud. I remember it was I went to see when they played the 49ers back in 19, I think it was, when and I think it was Drew Brees' last season, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, or it might have been the next to last, but uh Drew Brees drove down, scored, and then it was late in the fourth quarter, and I remember that place was so loud we couldn't even talk to the person next to us sitting in the seats. It was so loud. I mean, you couldn't even carry a conversation on. And then of course San Francisco got the ball back, drove down, and I think it was Robbie Gould, the 49ers kicker, kicked a long field goal and beat the Saints.
Yeah,
But I seen them.
I think a lot of people that are just college fans are that, and honestly not Saints fans. You think of the state of Louisiana as LSU being loud at Death Valley. They're loud too there with the Saints. You go to either one,
Oh,
you're probably going to need to get your ears checked when you
yeah,
get out
yeah,
of
yeah.
the
I mean,
state.
it was almost like when I left the game. I mean, it was when I was younger, you'd go to a concert at Dothan Civic Center, and I think I went to see 38 Special there. I remember my ears were ringing the next day, and that was kind of how it felt when I left the Superdome. For a little bit outside the game, it felt my ears were kind of ringing from that noise.
So as we close up, you can kind of bring this back into high school football and Carroll, however you want to. Just any final thoughts from you as we wrap it up.
I'm just excited to get this season underway. It seems like it takes forever for football season to get back. and I'm ready for it again, and it goes by fast too. It'll like next thing you know, the season's over, and then depression hits. Because I love football season. But I'm excited for Troy this year. We can talk a
Yeah.
little college, I guess, if you don't mind, or the Troy from
Yeah.
Troy football.
I'm interested because just with them, I think they'll be better defense. I think they'll be better. The
Yes,
biggest
yes,
thing for them last year was Goose Crowder with the injuries. You
yes,
can't, especially when you have a new head coach, you can't build any consistency when you're constantly playing different quarterbacks because you
right,
also had
right.
Tucker Kilcrease. You also, Matt Caldwell, which I thought Caldwell played better toward the end of the year, but
I did
obviously
too.
he's going to transfer. He's transferred to Texas. I get that. I mean, go
Yeah,
your
yeah,
final year of college football, maybe perhaps get a championship. I mean, in a way,
yes,
I can't.
yes.
But
Can't blame him.
I think if Goose Crowder stays healthy, I know last year going into the season, when I was interviewing Barry McKnight for a
Uh-huh.
preview of the team, Barry compared him to Brandon Silvers, and I kind of see it when you do
Yeah,
see him play. Just if he can stay healthy, I think they've got some good players. I'm really interested in what Raw Thomas does coming in with his SEC experience. I think on paper, I think Troy, they're not rated high by the Sunbelt media, which you get it, but I think they're
yeah.
going to have a bounce back. I think Troy is going to be a bowl team. How are you feeling about them?
I feel the same way too. I read, if you read somewhere, I read somewhere, it seems like where they had the basically the top recruiting class in the Sun Belt. It seems like I read that somewhere.
I know
This
they did
past,
coming in his first year. I knew, Parker did coming in.
yeah, yeah. So you maybe get some of those players that and they'll be plugged in the spots, and plus it's always the second year, the teams gets used to what the philosophy the coaching staff has, how they work, how they put things together, and that will probably be a big help too for the upcoming season for Troy.
Yeah, so I'm hoping bounce back, which I'm always hoping for a win over South. That's just
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Yes. Yes.
that's the main thing. I hope I get to see them lose twice because I will be at the Auburn South Alabama game.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Look, I feel like before I wouldn't have done this list, but I am a student at Troy, so I can throw all the shots and everything at South all I want to.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
I am
Yes.
a student at Troy University, so I shall do that.
I look forward to that game, and I'm so glad this year it's going to be on a Saturday too. Instead of a weeknight game, it's going to be on a Saturday game. It's going to be so fun.
I think a lot of people involved with that are happy about that.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
all right, and lastly, again, just kind of, tie everything up. We talked
yeah,
about beginning Mic'd Up Sports Network.
yes, yes.
Where can people check out the Carroll High
Uh,
broadcast?
Yeah, it's going to be it's youtube.com, and then I think it's / Mic'd Up Sports Network. And I've got a Facebook page, Mic'd Up Sports Network Facebook page. And I'll even on my personal Facebook page, I'll put links onto the streaming link on that. Like I said, this is our first run at it, and we're hoping everything works good. I feel like we got all the right equipment we need, and I got a one of those routers from Verizon to in case we go somewhere where they don't have internet. So hopefully that will be enough to get the streaming down, and then next year maybe we'll try some video. But this year we're just trying to do audio just to get our feet wet in it on the online streaming, and hopefully everything will work out great.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be good for you guys, and Les, I appreciate you coming on. Something always want to do, talk to you, and looks like we'll be chatting some during football season on your
Absolutely.
show. So, but I appreciate you coming on, and I look forward when you get to do this again sometime down the road.
All right. Thanks so much, Phillip. You have a great one.
All right, everybody. And once again, thanks to Les Perault for coming on this edition of the Wiregrass High School Football Report. Mostly coaches as the guest on the show, but every now and then we'll bring somebody else in the media to come talk about the teams. They may call games for cover, or maybe they cover the whole area or stuff like that. So that was a lot of fun talking to Les, and make sure to check out their broadcast for Carroll High Eagles football. And that's going to do it for this week's edition of the Wiregrass High School Football Report. We'll be back next week for another great episode, and we are getting closer and closer to the season. The 22nd is when they will kick off. So we'll soon have games to talk about. But anyways, remember, you can follow me on social media at PJordanSEC. I keep saying this on all my podcasts, but that handle is going to change before football season. I'll just tell you that. You can find the podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. You can check you out over at the Phillip Jordan Sports YouTube channel. And if you want to email me at sportstalkphillipjordan@gmail.com. Hope everybody has a great rest of their week. Until next time, bye-bye.